not even mean Bauer's game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today, I'm very excited to check out Advance to Boardwalk, Parker Brothers' game of high rises and fast falls. This is a spin-off of the immensely popular Monopoly for 2 to 4 players, ages 8+. And in Advance to Boardwalk, this is actually an area control game. We're going to be rolling dice and you're going to be building hotels and trying to have control of those hotels, as everyone will be building on those same hotels. But it's not going to be that easy because there are fortune cards which are wildly swingy and will do all sorts of crazy stuff, destroying hotels, allowing you to build on hotels, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. It's a spin-off of Monopoly. Do I like it better than Monopoly? Do I like it worse than Monopoly? Do I like it at all? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Advance to Boardwalk. Before we get started, I do want to mention this is a lengthy game. Like, it's physically long, as you can see. So I am going to put it right there in the middle and try and explain the game to you. So in Advance to Boardwalk, first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule booklet. It is one long page, double-sided. It's got a couple pictures here and there to show you how things work. And overall, it's a very well done rule booklet. It should have you up and running in no time at all. So big thumbs up on the rule booklet. So in Advance to Boardwalk, what you're trying to do is you're going to try to move your little pawn, which will be a roller skate, a baby carriage, a bicycle, or a sailboat, which are really nice 3D printed looking things, all the way over to the 61 over there. Either that, or at the beginning of your turn, if you have built all of your hotels, which will be these tiles right here, which stack on top of each other, the game will be over, and whoever is highest on the point track, because these represent millions of dollars, is the winner of the game. So how does the game work? What are the components? What's going on? Let's show you a mock turn. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to roll 3 dice. Now, there's 2 standard D6 die, then you're going to have this fancy die right here, which I'll tell you about in a second. So, roll the dice, let's see what happens. So I have a 5, a 2, and a W. That means that I get to spend $7 million grand total, and I can spend it wherever I want because I got a W, which is wild. But I do have to pick one sector to place my hotels. Now, in placing hotels, there's a couple rules. They're a little bit wonky, but you'll learn them as you go, and you'll learn them relatively quickly. You can build as many hotels as you want as long as someone has already built there. But when you first start building in an area, you can only build one hotel on a spot. And I'll show you. So, for instance, for this, let's just pretend that I am red. I have a couple choices that I could do. I could do 5 and 2. I could do 3 and 4. I could do 3, 2, 1, and spend a little bit less. I could not, however, do 3 and 3 because, as I mentioned, you cannot place more than 1 on a spot when you first place it there. So, you know, for this one, I would probably go 4, 2, 1. And now I become the landlord of this, which means I take the 4, the 2, and the 1, and I put these in front of me. Now, people are going to steal these from me, and then I go up $7 million. So I'm right here, boom, on 7. Now, if I ever land on one of the F spots, I get what's called a fortune card. And you will start the game with 2 fortune cards. And fortune cards are what's going to bring you down to earth and remind you that this is, in fact, a Monopoly game. Because these are wildly swingy things. Build 1 unit on top of any hotel or vacant lot worth $6 million or less. So you just get to build a $6 million contract. Insurance. Use this card to protect your hotel unit when an opponent plays a hurricane card against you. And I'll just read some more of these. $8 million contract. So which would you rather have? The 6 or the 8? As you can see, very swingy. Another $8 million contract. Profit boost. If your token is in last place on the boardwalk, you may build 1 unit on top of any hotel or a vacant lot, which essentially could get you an $8 million hotel purchase. Renovation. Choose any hotel on which you have at least 1 unit. Take off all units except yours and return them to the rightful owner. So, in a nutshell, that could be a $24, $32 million swing. Let's go back over to here real quick. So this one, it cost you $8 million to put there. So let's just say that it was like that. Red, yellow, red, red. And if someone played this renovation card and said, all right, yellow's playing this renovation card, that is $8 million, $16 million, $24 million, probably at least 2 or 3 turns that you just lost because of 1 card. But we'll talk more about those cards in the pros and cons, because as you can imagine, I have strong feelings about those cards. But anywho, let's take back a look at the dice. So there's blue, so that means you have to build the blue spot. Red means you have to build the yellow spot. F means you get to draw a fortune card. You have to draw a fortune card, then your turn is over, which is generally one of the worst kind of turns you can have. So you're going to continue to do this, rolling the dice. So let's just do the gray person's turn. 11 on blue, so he might go 2, 3, 5. No, you do 2, 3, 6. Yeah, 2, 3, 6. And then let's pretend that red also got that same roll. Then red could just go 1, 2. So 4. Boom. Boom. Because on that exact same roll, he could now place more than 1. Because as soon as someone builds on a property, then you can build as many as you want on there. Anywho, you're going to continue to do this. Passing these back and forth, because as you lose control of a hotel, you pass it to the other player until either someone gets to the $61 million or until someone has placed all of their hotels, and at the beginning of their turn, the game will be over. You see who's furthest along on the track, and they will be the winner of Advance to Boardwalk. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alright then, Advance to Boardwalk from the Parker Bros. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. 2 to 4 players, restricted player count. Also, a lot of people are going to see the Monopoly Man on this and say instantly, no. But I will say, this is not a bad game. You know, I'll talk more about it in the pros, but I was expecting that as well. I've really had a lot of fun trying to explore these Monopoly spin-off games to see which ones are good, which ones are bad, and this one pleasantly surprised me. Now, that being said, what ruined that pleasant surprise were the fortune cards in this game. Oh my dear God. Without those fortune cards, this is actually a somewhat dry, but still good area control dice chucking game. That's a good deal of fun. I like the game. I'm going to tell you, I think this is a good game that had the potential to be a great game, especially for how dated the game is. But the fortune cards just ruin that completely because of how wildly swingy it is. If you didn't see in the middle part, I showed you 2 cards. One card essentially had a $6 million value on it. It was worth $6 million. You played it, you get to build a $6 million hotel. Cool. The other card had the potential to be like an $18, $24, $32 million card, depending on if you played it in the right situation, and there's no reason why you wouldn't play it in the right situation, because if you know that you have the card, you can forward plan to create that situation. And it's just the cards are so swingy, and I have the same issue with the other Monopoly spinoff. That I liked, but still had big issues, which was free parking. I like free parking. I thought free parking was a good game, but then somebody was just like, no, this doesn't like it Monopoly enough. We need wildly crazy swingy cards. And that game also has wildly crazy swingy cards. This game also has wildly crazy swingy cards. Hey, Parker Brothers, we can enjoy Monopoly without wildly crazy swingy cards. And apparently, they just did not believe in that. So, moving on to the pros, because that was the cons. Yeah, that was the cons. Moving on to the pros, I think Advanced Boardwalk is actually a semi-decent gamery game, like a hobby-style game. This is an area control game. You are building on different locations, trying to outthink, outsmart, outmaneuver your opponents. And if the fortune cards were tamed down exponentially, or just balanced, hell, just balance those, this could actually be a semi-decent, good to great hobby game with a Monopoly theme. I know, it blows my mind too, but it could have been. Instead, it's not. It's not a bad game. I still think it's a good game. I still like the game. I still think this is one worth hunting down if you're looking to play this as a family game, because it was fun. Now, I do want to give you a big caveat on that, and this was a very surprising caveat to me. I played this with a group of adults, and I played this with the kids in my class. And I actually wasn't planning on playing it with any adults. I played it with the kids in my class, and the kids in my class liked it less than I expected them to. I thought they were really going to dig this game, and they did not. This is one of the rare times where I was like, yeah, I'm digging this. And they're like, no, I don't want to play this again. It wasn't very much fun. I was kind of bored. Whereas when I played it with the adults, they were more like me. Were like, oh, this isn't too bad. Those fortune cards are stupid, but it's not a bad game, you know, nuts and bolts wise. So take that with a grain of salt. Try it for yourself. But in the end, Advanced to Boardwalk, I thought it was a good game that had the potential to be even better if it was better balanced. And I think this might be my favorite Monopoly spin-off I've played that's an actual board game. There was a Monopoly card game, which I actually did like a lot. It's nothing at all like Monopoly. But this one, I enjoyed this. It is a cool area control-esque game that could have been better, but still, it's not bad. Advanced to Boardwalk, Parker Brothers game of high rises and fast falls. Check this one out if you find it at a thrift store or something like that. I can recommend. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Who is richer, Batman or Black Panther? Ooh, I think it's definitely Black Panther. I mean, he's the king of a country, so he can just keep stealing as much money as he wants. And they also have just super crazy amounts of technology. But you know what? Black Panther's really noble. I could see Black Panther being like, I'm going to only take $100,000 a year, and I'm going to give back everything. But if you count his assets, I'm sure if we're counting assets and physical cash, Black Panther wins. But I bet if we're just talking cash in the bank account, I bet Batman has a beat. Let me know in the comments below. Who do you think has more money? Not more assets, but more money. Batman or Black Panther? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.